Hello children, today I am going to teach a class from class 7th in English and the topic name is Susruta, an ancient plastics surgeon. Really this is an interesting story. So let me enter into the lesson. Here in the lesson, Susruta was a famous doctor in 26 centuries ago, and he did so many operations, and these operations are very similar to our modern doctors, but without getting any degree he did so many operations, and each and every operation was successfully completed. Okay, then here what happened in the story. One day when Susruta was in the home and he was sleeping, and that was really a night time hour. One day during night time, when Susruta was sleeping in his home, so immediately there was a person, there was a stranger, I mean here who was a traveler. He knocked the door of Susruta. So slowly Susruta gets up and he opened the door. When he opened the door, Susruta saw a traveler and his nose was almost damaged. So immediately Susruta asked him, "Yes, what happened, my dear child?" He asked a question. This time the traveler, I mean the stranger, said like this, "I am a traveler and there was a tragedy has been fallen me. I need your help, please try to help me." The traveler requested Susruta. So immediately, "Okay child, be cool. So everything will be okay. So please come in." Then Susruta politely invited him into his neat and clean room, because nowadays what we see in hospitals, ICU, so naturally these should be very neat and clean, because then the virus and bacteria should not enter into this. That's why here in the early days only he maintained neat and clean room. Okay, so immediately Susruta asked him to sleep on the floor. Then he took the juice of medicinal plant and he was cleaned his nose. Susruta cleaned the traveler's nose with juice of medicinal plant. Then immediately he took the mug of wine and he gave to the traveler. Because do you know what is the reason to give wine to the patient? Here, nowadays what the doctors do, for example, before the doctor going to perform a surgery, naturally the patient feel very pain. To prevent the pain, the doctors, I mean the anesthetic doctors will give anesthesia to the patients. In this way, the patient don't feel pain. That's why here Susruta, he gave a mug of wine to the patients. In this way, the patient doesn't feel pain. That's why he gave the mug of wine to the patient. Then immediately he went to his garden and he took a big leaf and he placed the leaf on the disfigured nose of the traveler. In this way, he measured the size and shape of the nose. Then what happened next? So in his neat and clean room, on the walls of his neat and clean room, he had a lot of his surgical instruments. So in his surgical instruments, what do we see there? Knives, forceps. Okay. Then he took his knife and he cut his cheek to take small flesh. Okay, while he was cutting his cheek with his instruments, the patient was mooned. Do you know what is the meaning of moon? A small sounds by pain. But here already he gave mug of wine to the patient. That's why here the wine numbed the patient senses. Then after he took two pipes and inserted into the nostrils of the patient. Then after he molding the flesh into the shape of the nose. Then after what happened here? Then immediately he took his medicinal plants. So what are the medicinal plants involved in this? What are they? Licorice, red sandalwood and Indian barberry. So he applied and he gave the instruction to the patient also about what to do and what not to do. And he gave the list of medicinal plants about to take regularly and instructed again the patient about come back after few weeks. In this way, the great Susruta did the plastic surgery in so many centuries ago. Here, in 26 centuries ago, the great Susruta did plastic surgery to the patients. Of course, this was not very greatly different from the modern doctors. Okay, that's why here he did so many plastic surgeries in 26 years ago. That's why Susruta called as the father of plastic surgery. And here he wrote everything about how to treat the diseases. He wrote everything in the book of medicine. What is that? What is the book name here? Susruta Samhita. In the book contains how to treat the diseases with medicinal herbs or plants. And here in 6th century BC, Susruta was the descendant of the great Vishwamitra. Here, Susruta was a student of the great Dhanvantari. He learned everything in the feet of the great doctor, the great person, Dhanvantari. And here, he was also called as the first physician. Here, Susruta was also called as the first physician to do even cesarean also. Under cesarean, what are the operations he did? So see here, fractures and eye operations. Mainly under eye operations, he did so many cataract operations. Now the present doctors give the patients to numb their senses. What they give? Anesthesia. The anesthetic doctors will give anesthesia to the patients to prevent pains. Here, in the early days, Susruta gave a mug of wine to the patients to numb the senses of the patients. That's why he was also called the father of anesthesia. Before performing the operations, Susruta placed the instrument on the flames. In this way, the virus and the bacteria will be die. Mainly, he gave some names to his surgical instruments. So, what are the names he gave to his instruments? So, mainly here, animal names and birds name. For example, see, if we discuss about the names of his instruments. So, what are the instruments here? Crocodile forceps and hawksbill forceps. These are the instruments which were used by Susruta. He was not only a great doctor but also a great teacher. He is an excellent teacher. How he taught to his students. Every student needs some theory classes as well as practical classes, then only they can perform well. In this way, Susruta did so many theory and practical classes. Sometimes here he took some dead bodies of the animals and the persons. In this way, he called his students and he performed some operations on the dead bodies of animals and persons. This was a good practice to the students. Okay, in this way, he did so many surgeries. With this, the class was completed. Thank you.